What's up, fellow gamers? Welcome back to RoboCow. Today, we're diving headfirst into the world of black myth Wukong. Now, if you haven't had the chance to experience this game yet and want to go in fresh, I'll plot off on the major spoilers. Consider this your friendly warning. But seriously, go play it, it's amazing. For those of you who've already journeyed alongside Wukong or are just curious to hear what's up, grab a snack, settle in, and let's get started. The journey to the west was finally over. The monk Xuanzang had delivered the sacred scriptures, and Wukong, the Monkey King, had earned the title of Buddha victorious in battle. The constricting gold band on his head, a symbol of his past transgressions, vanished, a reward for his enlightenment. But Wukong, true to his nature, yearned for freedom. He declined a place among the celestial deities, preferring the simple life he once knew among his brethren at Flower Fruit Mountain. However, fate, it seemed, had other plans. The celestial heavens, unwilling to risk another chaotic incident, dispatched an army to bring Wukong back, by force if necessary. Leading the charge was Erlang Shen, the mighty warrior god, alongside the formidable four heavenly kings. Their presence begged the question, did the heavens truly believe Wukong, even after his pilgrimage, posed such a threat? Were they so afraid of a repeat of his past rebellion, now that his powers had grown even greater? For Wukong, it was a bitter pill to swallow. He had fulfilled his duty, protected Xuanzang, and retrieved the scriptures. Why, then, couldn't they trust him to live his life in peace? Why force him back into the rigid structure of the celestial court? Adding insult to injury, Erlang Shen, the celestial warrior, challenged Wukong to single combat. He even threatened to unleash the full might of his army upon Flower Fruit Mountain, regardless of the duel's outcome. The irony was almost unbearable. Here stood the so-called gods, eager to bring bloodshed to a peaceful haven. And there stood Wukong, the one they called a menace, his heart now seeking only tranquility. He desired nothing more than to live his days in quietude. But with war brought to his doorstep, Wukong could not stand idly by. How could he allow the celestial army to wreak havoc upon his home? Flower Fruit Mountain, once again, transformed into a battlefield, a grim echo of the Monkey King's rebellion 500 years prior. Once more, he faced the might of heaven, the imposing four heavenly kings, the relentless Erlang Shen, and countless celestial soldiers. The two rivals clashed, their battle raging across the land. But even Wukong's extraordinary abilities were pushed to their limits against the seemingly endless ranks of heaven. He lured Erlang Shen deeper into Flower Fruit Mountain, hoping to even the odds in a decisive rematch. But just as hope seemed to dwindle, the gold band, the one that had supposedly vanished, reappeared. It tightened around Wukong's head with agonizing force, his cries echoing through the mountains. Seizing the opportunity, Erlang Shen struck. 500 years drifted by like a fleeting dream. Where Wukong once fell, a mystical stone now stood, a silent sentinel to the ages. The legend of the Monkey King echoed through the generations of monkeys inhabiting Flower Fruit Mountain. An aged monkey, his fur dusted with the passing seasons, recounted a tale whispered to him when he was but a wee thing. Within that very stone resided the essence of Wukong. Though his physical form was lost, the Monkey King's spirit endured, fragmented into 6 pieces scattered across the vastness of the world. And among the playful, chattering monkeys, one was destined to reunite these fragments, chosen by fate itself to restore the legendary Wukong. Thus begins our journey. We, the chosen ones, the bearers of a sacred destiny. Chapter 1, Black Cloud, Red Fire. Centuries ago, around the time the monk Xuanzang embarked on his legendary pilgrimage for scriptures, the Guanyin Temple stood as a renowned haven for spiritual seekers. But tragedy struck. A devastating fire swept through the temple grounds, reducing its elegant structures to smoldering ruins. Sacred texts turned to ash, and countless lives were lost. Though rebuilt with funds collected from the populace, the temple never truly recovered. It became a magnet for the restless dead and demons drawn to the lingering sorrow and anguish. Bound by their worldly regrets and burning resentments, these lost souls found a home within the temple's scarred walls. Yet, not all who dwelled there were driven by malice. Powerful demons, seeking to atone for past sins, took it upon themselves to guard the temple. Among them were 2 formidable beings, Guangmu and Guangji, once revered monks of Guanyin Temple, now forever bound to its haunted grounds. During their legendary journey to the west, the monk Xuanzang and his disciple Wukong sought shelter at the Guanyin Temple. However, the temple's abbot, Elder Jinki, was consumed by greed, coveting Xuanzang's magnificent saffron robes. Driven by avarice, the elder enlisted 2 young monks under his tutelage, Guangmu and Guangji, to orchestrate a sinister plan. They would engulf the guest quarters in flames, hoping to steal the robes amidst the chaos and leave no witnesses. What they failed to anticipate was Wukong's vigilance. Even in slumber, the Monkey King's senses remained sharp. He overheard their whispered scheme and devised a plan of his own. Using a mystical fire-resistant pouch, he shielded Xuanzang from harm. Then, with a mischievous flick of his wrist, he summoned a mighty wind, transforming the intended embers into a raging inferno that consumed the entire temple. Elder Jinki, his prize stolen by the flames alongside his temple, succumbed to despair and took his own life. Miraculously, Guangmu and Guangji survived the blaze. Haunted by their actions, they remained bound to the ruined temple for centuries, transformed into powerful demons, forever atoning for their past sins. Despite becoming demons, Guangmu and Guangji were burdened by guilt. They blamed themselves for the temple's destruction and their master's tragic demise. As a form of penitence, they continued chanting scriptures and offering Buddhist prayers, hoping to find some solace. You might ask, demons reciting scriptures? Now, isn't that a strange thing? Well, here's why. Back in the day, Elder Jinki shared a close bond with the infamous Black Wind King. They were practically partners in crime, obsessed with unraveling Buddhist teachings to brew immortality elixirs and prolong their lifespans. This fascination with Buddhist teachings, however twisted, trickled down to the demons under their command. You might stumble upon lesser demons seemingly absorbed in prayer, but don't let that fool you. Their demonic nature remained. Some, like the cunning wolf demon Ling Suzi, paid lip service to the scriptures while honing their skills for a different purpose, to flay the flesh from their enemies with terrifying efficiency. For them, Buddhist teachings were nothing but a tool, their true desires as sharp and merciless as their claws. Not all demons haunting the temple were driven by malice or yearning for redemption. Some, like the wandering whites, were trapped souls clinging to the mortal realm through sheer force of their lingering regrets and anguish. For the chosen monkey, the journey to Guanyin Temple wasn't solely about recovering the Monkey King's lost essence. It was also a calling to cleanse the sacred ground, vanquishing malevolent entities and guiding tormented souls towards peace and release. Interestingly, some demons, like the white-clad noble, seemed to exist outside this spectrum of good and evil. Bound by duty to guard a mysterious bell, the white-clad noble harbored no ill will towards the chosen monkey. Yet, fate demanded a confrontation. During their battle, the white-clad noble sensed something amiss about the bell he guarded. It seemed intertwined with Elder Jinki's lingering spirit, a connection that hinted at a deeper, unsettling truth. However, bound by the Black Wind King's decree, the white-clad noble dared not investigate further. With his dying breath, the white-clad noble entrusted the chosen monkey with his suspicions, urging him to seek out 3 other bells, each holding a piece of the puzzle surrounding their existence. What secrets did those bells hold? It all began when the Black Wind King was subdued by Guanyin Bodhisattva, the revered goddess of mercy. Taken as her disciple, the Black Wind King learned the secrets of resurrection. Returning to his domain at Black Wind Mountain, he attempted to revive his old friend, Elder Jinki. However, instead of his former companion, the Black Wind King resurrected a being twisted by avarice, a grotesque fusion of Elder Jinki's spirit and the worldly treasures buried alongside him. This tormented entity, consumed by greed and anguish, wreaked havoc across the land. In a desperate attempt to contain the monster he had unleashed, the Black Wind King forged 3 powerful bells to bind Elder Jinki's corrupted spirit. He then tasked his most formidable demon lieutenants with guarding these bells, ensuring no one dared to tamper with them. Perhaps the Black Wind King lacked the heart to truly end his old friend's tormented existence. Or maybe he hoped that someone else, someday, would find a way to break the curse and finally lay Elder Jinki's troubled soul to rest.
It must be you who took that Kasaya. Now give it back!
After subduing the guardians of the 3 bells, the chosen monkey found himself transported to a familiar yet profoundly unsettling location, the ruins of the old Guanyin Temple. The once serene grounds, where he had battled the wolf demon Ling Suzi, were now shrouded in a palpable darkness. Standing in the heart of the temple courtyard was not the cunning wolf, but a hulking, monstrous figure radiating an aura of pure avarice and despair. This was Elder Jinki, consumed by his obsession with the saffron robes, his spirit unable to find peace. He seemed trapped in a loop, reliving the fateful night of the fire, demanding to know if Xuanzang and Wukong had perished in the flames. Upon seeing the chosen monkey, Elder Jinki lunged, driven by a maddened desire to claim the robes once more. It was a pitiful sight. Elder Jinki had lived for 270 years, amassing a wealth of 700, perhaps even 800 saffron robes. Yet, his life had been consumed by a single act of greed, a fleeting desire that had cost him his temple, his disciples, and ultimately, his soul. In his final moments, as the weight of his actions finally crushed him, Elder Jinki called out to his former disciples, Guangmu and Guangji, "Forget the robes. Let them burn. Just put out the fire." And with that, the torment that had gripped Elder Jinki's spirit finally abated. He vanished, finally free from his earthly obsession and the cycle of suffering. It was a tragic end for a life that had spanned nearly 3 centuries. Elder Jinki's story served as a stark reminder: greed, even for something as seemingly insignificant as a robe, could corrupt even the purest heart and lead to a lifetime of regret. Meanwhile, the Black Wind King, true to his name, was a formidable figure. Towering and imposing, this bear demon had once served as a mountain god under Guanyin Bodhisattva's command. After leaving her, he'd returned to his domain atop Black Wind Mountain, resuming his reign as the Demon King. Despite his fearsome reputation, the Black Wind King was not without compassion. He had dedicated himself to rebuilding Guanyin Temple after the fire, painstakingly restoring its charred scriptures and offering sanctuary to the wandering spirits of the monks who had perished. So, when the chosen monkey arrived, the Black Wind King was enraged. He saw only another rebellious monkey, a threat to the peace and sanctuary he had worked so hard to create. Their battle raged throughout the temple's cavernous underbelly and soared into the sky above. Wind howled, rocks shattered, and flames erupted around them, a terrifying echo of the blaze that had consumed the temple centuries earlier. This time, however, the fire was kindled not by greed, but by the Black Wind King's righteous fury. As defeat loomed, the Black Wind King transformed into a swirling vortex of dark energy, snatching one of the 6 sacred relics from atop the temple spire. He intended to flee, to hide them in a distant realm. But the relics, it seemed, had a will of their own. They pulsed with a power that even the Black Wind King couldn't control, anchoring him to that place. He plummeted from the sky, his arrogance shattered, and found himself begging for mercy from the one he had underestimated. The Black Wind King, humbled and defeated, revealed a startling truth. He claimed to be nothing more than a pawn in a celestial game, forced by the celestial heavens to test the chosen monkey's strength. He would never have dared to challenge a being as powerful as the legendary Monkey King, especially not on his own initiative. He confessed his ignorance about the true nature of the relics, admitting he'd only used them as bait, a display of power to attract offerings from lesser demons. Pleading for his life, the Black Wind King vowed to return to Guanyin Bodhisattva and seek redemption for his transgressions. With the defeated demon subdued, the chosen monkey approached the scattered relics. As he reached out, a surge of energy pulsed through him, and the first of the 6 lost pieces of the Monkey King's essence flowed into him. The journey to restore the great sage had just begun.